Okay, so we got those couple parts put on real quick. Real easy stuff, just a couple screws. So the one side turbo, the plastic cover that covers the turbo, we left that one. It's just sitting there. I didn't tighten it down yet because I think I got to get back in there for a tube that I got to put in. But I'll show you guys that. There's a diagram I printed off from Country Cat, which was the diagram that I'm kind of using to show how all the tubing goes. So I'll show you that stuff yet. Okay, so that plastic went in real easy. Nice, smooth, shiny. 2 screws in there. Threw a couple clips in. One was this one. One's down here. So those screws are in. That's holding now. The dash screw was just that guy there. That's all done. So this plastic I didn't put in yet. It's just sitting there. There's 3 screws that hold it in. But down inside, yeah, we can't even see with the cover on. So that'll have to come back out. But she does fit. So that piece I can show you over here in my paperwork pile. Right here. So this is where I was missing some parts originally, and I'm not sure where stuff goes, so we're gonna have to piece it together. The part that's missing is this one here. That is basically a valve that releases pressure back into the intake. So that was completely gone. Right now the intercooler's off getting one of these studs re-welded. So I have this tube, but I didn't have this, and I didn't know where any of this stuff went. So that is currently on order. That was an eBay one. It was less than half the price of a new one, and it was pushing $250, I think, for a new one. So seems a lot for a little plastic valve. So we'll have to plumb that stuff in when it shows up. This tubing now goes to this sensor and then this sensor, which are these. And one is broke. You can see right there. That one is broke off, so we'll have to order one of those at some point. I've kind of been just putting it off. They're also, for some reason, extremely expensive for just a little sensor. This tube that's on here, on this one, that is this one here. So that goes to the intake. I know that. That's all ready to go. The bottom, so this one right here, that is the one that goes to our turbo. So that's the one we'll have to put in and pop this cover off to get to. So that's easy enough. Now we switch to the other sensor, which is this one. And that is, I believe, our broken one, which is missing both pieces. So it looks like there, we don't use the bottom spout, but we do use the top one. And the top one goes to the intercooler. Okay, so I think I had that backwards here. We're going to take another look at this, which something doesn't make sense, but we'll dig into a little bit and see what we have. So this top one has 2 bottom protrusions and then 1 on top. So I believe that is the middle one, the one that is intact with the hose coming off. We got the 1 on top and 2 out the bottom. So the very bottom protrusion is not used, at least in this diagram. So that would show that this hose would go to the intercooler. Now, I believe that was aluminum on top. I don't have it here right now to verify, but in the end of that hose, we have a piece of plastic. Let's see if we can get that in focus here slightly. But there is a piece of plastic in the end of that hose. So that's what I'm wondering about. Now, the top one, which would come off of here, goes up to this valve. So that would come from the top of there, loop around to the top of that valve, which we are still waiting on. Now the other sensor, which is the one that is broken off on the top and bottom, right there. The top one of those, this guy, goes to the intake, which I do have. It's connected to the intake yet and broken off. That makes sense. And the bottom one goes to this little piece on the turbo. So I kind of popped this cover off a little bit. And there, you can see it down there. So that's where that one's got to go. So I think it doesn't make sense is why this hose has a piece of plastic in the end of it. We'll have to wait for those parts to get here. We might get this one mocked up tonight. By this one, I mean the one up here, because I know where most of these go. We can get them close. And then this one, we could actually connect all that, but we gotta wait for the hood to go on anyway, so we'll wait. So that looks like that shouldn't be too bad. Waiting on a few parts for that. Next up, I suppose, is going to be oil change. And could probably get these skis pulled, which just in preparation for whatever we find, either with what Eric has or at Heydays. Well, we found a headlight at Heydays. Got that all buttoned up. Didn't take too long to do that. I think it was $40 for used one. Wasn't too bad. So hood's coming along. Windshield and some other parts came today with our final Country Cat order. I think that should be it for everything, minus one sensor we gotta put on yet. We're waiting for that. So we'll open that box up, figure out what we got here. Should be windshield, some miscellaneous clips and hardware. Since the last video, the only thing that really got done that I didn't film was we just got this intake 90 put on, and then just the valve with some of the tubing for that. So that's the sensor we're waiting on. As soon as that shows up, plug it in, hook up these two hoses, and we should be in operation. So today we'll get the hood on, get all the hardware on it. Should be able to start the sled, power it up. Bat wings on, we can test the battery, put the seat back on it, and I think we could put the side panel on. This side panel we got to fix, and then there's a little plastic insert that goes in here. I think we got to put in yet. That should wrap that up, and then just in time for West Bend next weekend, we'll get a set of CNA skis from Eric, put those on, and we'll be rocking and rolling. So we'll get you set up. We'll get that box open, see what showed up, and we'll go from there. Alright, small hardware, get you out in a minute. New windshield, and that's it for that. I did pick up a windshield at Heydays, ended up being the wrong one, didn't notice it. It's for the newer gen, I believe 18 and newer, where it's got the 3 screws on each side versus the 2. That should work. The color's a little off. There's a film on it. We'll take that off right before we put it on. As far as hardware, it's just a bunch of little stuff. 4 screws, 4 grommets to hold the windshield on. 2 of the quarter turn clips for down below, for down here. One was missing. Coming back to 2s is what it is. Couple of generic screws and clips for the hood that was missing a few pieces. And then the 2 screws for the bottom of the hood. One thing I forgot to order is a little plastic pin that goes here that your side panel latches onto. Let's see if I get one of those real quick. Should have enough time to have it here by West Bend for the West Bend swap. That's coming up in about basically a week. Should have everything done. Okay, so we'll tear into this stuff, get the hood on, get all this hardware used up, and should be ready to rock and roll minus the side panel.